G'day, Chief. This week we're going to talk all about project and strategy reviews using the AAR method, or the after action review method. Now, where's this come from? I got a call from a client earlier today, and he said, "Hey mate, I've been in this role about 2-3 months, and it's a big role. It's difficult. It's a CEO role of a multi-million-dollar company, and it hasn't got off on the right foot. A few things aren't quite working with some of the owners and the board. The relationship, there's a bit of tension there. So, what they started out to do is just not what's going down." So I spoke to him about using this after action review method to try and do a bit of a review of what's actually gone down. Now, I've used this in all sorts of situations, in annual strategic planning reviews, in project implementation reviews, or post project reviews, all sorts of things. It's a wonderful little process that'll get you on track. After action review is a military process. It's something they use after a serious piece of action in a live environment. And the whole idea is to get people in a room to be candid, to be open, to be frank, to be genuine and authentic, to properly look for growth and improvement. That's the whole thing, or the frame around this, is how do you get better in what you're doing? Because no one turns up to work to do a bad job. You're always here to have a real good go at something and be aspirational, and you want to have a good crack at that. So this is the process. The first thing you do is you sit down and you say, what did we plan and what did we expect would happen? That's question one. What did you set out to do? For the guy that called me up, the plan was to come into a new role, reset the strategy, form the executive team, do a whole bunch of things, and they thought a whole set of things would happen. Right? What did they expect then would start to flow in a relationship or in a project? What did you set out to achieve in your project, and what did you expect would happen, the benefits, the consequences of that sort of project? Then what actually happened? Where are you right now? What is going on? What's good? What's bad? Maybe it's so-so. Let's list out what actually happened in the cold hard light of day. What's going on now? Right, get that done. Step 3, what are the gaps between the two? What you said would happen, what actually happened, and what's the deeper root cause? In the case of my client, it was perhaps some challenges around expectation setting, around role clarity, around the speed of change. In some projects, and I remember doing one project post review with a mining company, and we got to this point, and the very first thing that came up as a major gap was the fact that they were doing far too many things, right? They said they'll do a set of things. What actually happened was only about half of those things got done, and only pretty poorly. The gaps were in their project planning process. They did too many projects, and they planned those projects in isolation of each other. So when we turned up, we could see that the resources planned in this project were also being allocated to this project. They just had no idea. Happens all the time in business because we all do so much. We're so eager to make change. But if we get together and do that project planning together, life's a little bit easier. So what are the gaps? What are the root causes? And then what are the lessons we have to learn as a team? If we don't get those lessons, there's no point doing that. Remember, the frame is growth. So this is a really important little process. Get to lessons and then put them in play. What are the real and practical steps, tasks and actions we can take to improve and get back on track? So in the case of my client, we would sit down, have a role clarity, have a task alignment type discussion, be real, frank, authentic, get to the root cause with the frame of trying to get things back on track. With the projects, it was reconduct the project prioritization type work and get the right suite of projects, the right program of work with reasonable timelines and resource allocation done correctly, and that actually make a bit more progress than they really did. Part of that one was expectations of the program of work were just simply too high to begin with. Okay, Chiefs, that's the after action review process. If you've ever done anything like that before, we've got any refinements, please put them in the comments. I'd love to hear about some refinements. If you'd like a template for this, I'm going to put a link in the notes. Check those out. Go to that site, and you can download a template which you can use any time in your office for your project, for a relationship that's maybe gone the wrong way, for an employee that's come on board isn't doing the right thing, anything you like. That's after action review. Good luck with it, and as always, stay epic.